I started having grand mal seizures. And for anybody that doesn't know exactly what that is, or tonic-clonic seizures as they're referred to, I'm out for the count. I mean, I literally am out. I start seizing, I get really tight, I make some random noises, and then the actual seizure is over shortly thereafter, but you're still in this state of you're not lucid. There is nothing there. There's nothing in your eyes. I mean, you're still breathing, but you're not there and you don't know. And when you come to the very first time that it ever happened, I mean, I literally woke up in an ambulance. I woke up to bright white lights with a strange face over top of me. And so get rushed to the hospital. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I've never done cocaine. I've never done anything, like nothing. This is where I struggle. Why me?
Welcome to Linda's Corner, where we bring more hope, healing, and happiness to the world. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about optimizing health, energy, and performance. I'm delighted to welcome Zoe Karli. Zoe is the founder of Zeta Body and the president of Greyledge Technologies. You can reach Zoe at her website, zetabody.com, and I'll include that link in the show notes. Welcome, Zoe. I'm so glad that you could join with me today.
Fantastic. Thank you for welcoming me. Like I said, this is a great experience for me and I'm honored. Thank you for allowing me to touch your audience as little or as much as possible, as few or as many. So thank you again. I'm grateful.
Oh, thank you. And I love that we're able to connect. I love what I do because I get to talk to such interesting people and I get to learn so many different things because we all have our unique experiences and we learn from those experiences. And then we have an opportunity to share. Isn't it wonderful that we don't have to have every single problem in the world? We can have some, you can have this one and you can have this one, and then we can learn from each other because, it's kind of heavy sometimes when we carry the weight that we do. And you have had some very unique challenges that you have learned from. Would you be willing to share you being able to overcome from seizures? That's a quite a battle.
Yes, unique and interesting, but for whatever reason, God gave me that to carry. So I've embraced it and I've been carrying that burden for a long time, but it's still one of those things where I can get sensitive about, but I'm happy and always open to share. So I super athletic, super involved in my community. I was in the military, got out of the military, started working for a larger company. And when I got out of the military, that wasn't exactly the timing that I was expecting. That's a whole nother story, but so I didn't have a resume. So I thought to myself, oh, shoot, what do I do now? I knew that I was going into flight school and then I was going to my track and my trajectory was I'm going to fly planes. Then I'm going to go to med school and then I'm going to be a flight surgeon and this will be great. And then I'm going to retire from the Navy. That was the plan. That did not happen. I got out of flight school and then I got into the workforce. And I just remember thinking, all I know how to do is I was a really tough kid, not in a bad way, just I was tough. I'm from a divorced family. My father was flew F-14s, so he was always gone and deployed. This was through the 80s, so we were in two different wars and then in the 90s. So I had to learn how to adapt and do that. I was an entrepreneur at a little young lady. I was like 12 and I convinced my mother to allow me to drive the riding lawnmower around the block and cut other people's grass because I wanted to have more jeans and I wanted to be the cool girl because my parents didn't have a lot of money. So it wasn't like I could have all the cool shoes like all the other girls. Anyway, so fast forward, that's just some of the things that I had to learn as a kid. And I'm sure that many, because I think the divorce rate is something like 50% in our culture. So I suspect that a lot of your listeners can for sure relate to that. It was just my life. And I didn't know any different because my parents divorced when I was really young. So I learned a lot of lessons and I learned how to be tough. So now to go back, I get out of the Navy, I get into pharmaceuticals. I work there for a couple years. A girlfriend of mine says, you need to get into medical device sales and work with orthopedic surgeons. So that's what I moved into. So I learned about the body pretty early on. Like I said, I was an athlete. So then when I got into orthopedics, I learned even more. When people don't take care of their body, their bodies break down. When you gain too much weight and you're carrying that around, your body's not meant to do that. Hips go, knees go, backs go. It's just as a whole cascade of the breakdown. So I learned that. I had early experience with that. And then I ended up marrying an orthopedic doctor, which is a whole nother fun story, who's a pioneer in stem cells and has really helped to advance that. So now I'm even immersed even more in a cellular, now moving into genetic level of what truly happens to our body and how truly can we affect it. So, not a doctor, not a dietitian, but like I said, I've learned so much via osmosis, but then also have immersed myself in it and then live it. Both my husband and I live it. So, what I've always tried to be is an inspiration because I've always tried to figure out and I've always struggled, what the heck is my purpose? So, and this actually became even more challenging when I started having seizures. So, it was one of those things where this is a delicate topic, and I think it's probably a controversial one. But so when I was 29, the HPV vaccine had recently come out, and I was single. I was an active female, wasn't in any kind of relationship. So I remember going to get your normal female checkup and the OBGYN office and talked to her, and she said this is a really good thing. We like our younger females to take it. I don't know what or why, and this is what I struggled with for a really long time. Why did I make such just a non-customary kind of decision that I had never had taken a vaccine other than childhood vaccines when I was young, but I never really got sick. My family was always an extremely healthy family. But I don't know why I took it. So I took it, didn't connect the dots until just a few years ago. I started having grand mal seizures. And for anybody that doesn't know exactly what that is, or tonic-clonic seizures as they're referred to, I'm out for the count. I mean, I literally am out. I start seizing, I get really tight, I make some random noises, and then the actual seizure is over shortly thereafter, but you're still in this state of you're not lucid. There is nothing there. There's nothing in your eyes. I mean, you're still breathing, but you're not there and you don't know. And when you come to the very first time that it ever happened, I mean, I literally woke up in an ambulance and I was literally like strong holding the EMT, the gentleman that was standing over top of me, because you just don't know. I woke up to bright white lights with a strange face over top of me. And so get rushed to the hospital, X-rays, CTs, everything, you name it, they tested me. What drugs are you taking? What drugs do you take? I'm like, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I've never done cocaine. I've never done anything, like nothing. This is where I struggle for the next several years. Why me? Such a healthy, super involved, never really gotten in any trouble. I mean, yes, as a kid, you go through your little, oops, I got into trouble and things like that. And all of a sudden I'm like, why me? Why? Why did this happen to me? Like what? And there were no answers. Nobody knew. I got every kind of seizure epileptic test that you possibly could. So now this is a course of 2 years. I couldn't drive for almost a year because if I'm to have a seizure and I'm driving, that's just not a good thing. Kill myself, kill somebody else. It just irreparable damage. So the next course of a year, I had every blood test you possibly could imagine, hormones checked, brain scanned. They found a little tumor behind my right eye and my temporal lobe, but temporal lobe damage of some kind, cancer like, doesn't typically cause tonic-clonic seizures. And so now we're at another dead end. And then I go to try to find the best doctor at Johns Hopkins. I do. He's an epileptic seizure specialist. He was my neurologist. Then we find another brain surgeon that possibly was talking about testing this and taking it out. This is the turmoil that I lived for like 2 years. Thank gosh, I had at that point a little mini distributorship. I had two other partners and I had some passive revenue because I wasn't able to really work. You're talking about a very independent woman, not married, single, didn't have a common job. Like I didn't have a 9 to 5, go to work every day. I worked a lot, but it was me. I was an entrepreneur. And then with me not being able to drive to get to these places. So finally we get it controlled. That was a whole adventure by itself. I don't want to get into all of that just because that's another story. I was in denial in the beginning. I wasn't taking my medication as I should have. I had one or two more seizures along the way. And I said, okay, doctor, I have to admit I've not been compliant. So then he asked me at the last doctor's appointment, hey, bring in your medication, because also if you're now compliant and you're taking this and you're not controlled, you're on one of the best seizure medications. There's something off. They filled my medication with generic medication instead of dispense as written, which means you're supposed to follow what the doctor says, and the pharmacist is supposed to fill it, whether it's $1,000 medication or $1 medication, whatever the doctor writes. And he poured it in his hand and said, these are generic. This is not what I wrote. Then we went down the whole process of appealing to the pharmacy, appealing to my medical health insurance. Finally, I got it approved after 3 appeals, seizures controlled. So I quickly found out that the variability, because generic medication isn't 100% of exactly what the branded version is, which is why it's able to be generic. So it's not 100%. So that small variability disabled me because it didn't control my seizures. So now I'm on this medication. It works. We still know nothing. I still get brain scans annually. Fast forward, what are we, 2025? So approximately 2022. Like I said, I've gone through all these tests. Then I finally just throw my hands up in the air and say, I'm controlled. I'm grateful. I can drive. I can work again. I started a relationship with my husband. So now I'm back to normal life. About 3 years ago, I find out that there's several studies that have been released that the HPV vaccine causes seizures in females. So, like I said, it's controversial. I don't tell people whether to take vaccines or not. That's your choice. If you're an adult, do your own research. But that was one of those things where it was a newer vaccine when I took it. And then, now mind you, I was approximately 30 and I'm 41 now. So for 10 years, and I know that if I'm not compliant and if I miss my medication, I will have another seizure. So this is it for the rest of my life until we can figure out something that reverses it. But that is what was really difficult. And that was where the why me was really hard. So then I got over it and I stopped complaining, like, why me? Woe is me. I'm the victim. This is really unfortunate. And said, well, life isn't stopping because that's what happened to me. I still need to make money. Got to live. Still have that passion and that drive to be more than just a stable 9-to-5 job. That's just not me. So fast forward again, my husband's cellular therapy company that he developed is called Greyledge Technologies, and it's very, very advanced and specialized to be able to measure the stem cells that come out of your body. Also PRP, that's a lot of people know what that is, platelet-rich plasma, comes out of your blood. But standard application of those kinds of biologic therapies are not measured. The physicians have no idea how many stem cells they're injecting because the typical standard status quo medical devices that they use don't measure, can't optimize, can't concentrate. And then it's so variable that some people get great responses, some people don't because they probably got a subtherapeutic product. He said that was a problem. 2010, created a new technology. It measures every single biologic every single time. The doctors that use it know exactly what gets injected. We then track it through a customized data processing system that Greyledge built out as well to better understand if I inject this dose, then the patient has this response. Now we're better able to define the field. And now we know that when you treat knees and shoulders and hips, you need to have a higher level and a higher concentration, also known as a higher dose, in order for a patient to have a response. 2017, I said, I can run this company. Let me help you grow this. No way, you're my girlfriend at the time. No way, that's a terrible decision. 2019, I was able to convince him, started helping to grow the company. Now we're across the United States and we have an international facility and three PhDs that we work with. So we've been able to really grow and advance. And then I said, you know what? I want to start a supplement company. So on top of that, that's where Zeta Body was born. So that's from the challenges of having a seizure, being disabled and being able to work. That was very upsetting to me, getting back into the workforce, then finding and marrying my husband and then convincing him. By the way, it takes a very, very dynamic and unique and very honest couple to be able to work together. And we do bring work home. We do take it to work every once in a while. We also are a married couple and we bicker when we shouldn't. But we sat down and said, this is going to be really hard. And the expectations and the roles are this. I support him and everything that he does. Equally, he does for me. So, in regards to orthopedics, we have found that supplementing is extremely important for your body. It's not a replacement. That's why they're called supplements. They are an addition to. Now, they're an addition to really good habits and really good nutritional practices. Not let me eat pizza all day and do all this and then pop some supplements and we're good. I'm neutralized. So we both are big believers. We both take care of that. Now we're moving into longevity. That's a big buzz right now. Biohacking, nootropics, all different kinds of you need to take this one supplement, you're going to live 20 years longer. Things like that. So it's a confusing world, and what David and I truly wanted to invest and build in were unique products, a simple starting point. If you want to get more advanced, move into something, use science-backed information, and then do the very best that you can as far as affordability and which one do you take, and then what does it do, and can you feel something? I don't really feel anything, so this is a waste of money. So I get all of that. So Zeta Body truly gives you a base supplementation plan, your typical vitamin D, your methylation formulation, which is a complex of vitamin Bs, an excellent probiotic, and a few other very traditional supplementation. And then my most exciting favorite thing is a very special and novel formulation of a nootropic. It's very simple. There are 3 ingredients. It's meant to focus your brain, which, by the way, seizures affect your brain. So for me, being able to give focus and energy to people is extremely important to me. That I think possibly is part of my purpose and possibly why I had to carry that burden, because I understand that lacking focus and lacking energy, because sometimes that's what seizure medication can do is induce fatigue. So I've always battled fatigue. Taking care of your brain and your body and whatever you can do to do that, that's the key to longevity. But supplementation is important because it can help mitigate some of those issues. So I just wanted to be able to help. We wanted to be able to have something that people could really feel. So when you take it, you definitely feel it. Hones in your focus. I just gave it to one of my orthopedic surgeons that had been traveling for like 20 hours and tired. And I said, hey, take one of these. I got a text message from him and he said, I love this stuff. I feel like I can take on just about anything. So I loved being able to hear that. And I've loved being able to hear working moms that love it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can take on every task that the house and the kids need. This is amazing. So as the flagship product of Zeta Body, I'm happy to be able to share that.
Wow, that is quite a journey. And as you mentioned, we have a data dump, and there's a lot of information that you gave, and it was beautiful and quite comprehensive. So if I'm going to go back to my original question, which was about the seizures. And so it was interesting you shared, because we started with saying our challenges, we learn from our challenges, we learn from our experiences. And you felt impressed and inspired to say, let's not just include my seizures. I have had learning experiences from a whole variety of different experiences and different challenges that I've had in my life. And a lot of them are very normal things that everybody is dealing with. And yet through your experiences, you became strong and you became adaptable. And you also are a very, it seems like an independent thinker, and you have that entrepreneurial spirit where it's like, I want to be in control of me, and I want to be in control of my environment as much as possible. I want to be able to, I would like to have better clothes, and I can see that my parents are not in a position to be able to help me with that. So what can I do about it? And that seems to be a very central part of who Zoe is what can I do about it? And that is beautiful. And then as you worked through your different experiences and got to this unfortunate experience of having a bad reaction to a vaccine and having that change the depth of the challenges that you were facing into something that is beyond what most people experience. And it is debilitating. And here we have this person who is powerful and driven and capable, who is in a position of helplessness. I can't drive a car. I can't do all the things that I want to do. And I can just imagine how frustrating that must have been. And as you're navigating this journey and trying to be able to get back on your feet and be able to be in control of your life again, you found some very important information that you have held on to. And that was an experience of a, a generic drug versus a drug that is labeled, shall we say, it is a design or something. And you found that there was a difference. And this is something that's actually very important. I hope a golden nugget that people take away, because for most of us, we look at finances as a determining factor on our choices. But having something where that tiny little, maybe 0.01% difference or whatever it might be, is the difference of something working and something not working, all of a sudden that tiny difference matters. And in
Mhm.
fact, it matters more than money. Money matters, it does, but it's not the only thing that matters. And so that when you said the why, and I think we all feel that way when we experience something that we didn't ask for, we didn't want, the why. And I think usually when we say the why me, it feels like, why am I being punished?
Yeah.
And as I'm listening to your whole story, the why from a different angle of, what did I learn from this experience? How did this help me in my life journey and my whatever, becoming the greatest version of me? You learned that 0.001% or whatever that put you in a position to be able to pay it forward in a very unique way. And because of that lesson that you learned, and now with the connection with working with your husband, and you're pooling now your resources and your experiences together. It's like, I got the drive, I got the know-how, I can pull this forward. And he's like, oh, okay, and I've got this experience and I have this information, and putting it together and creating something beautiful where you're able to get results, where someone comes and says, wow, I felt that. I noticed a difference. It worked. And that's rare. There are a lot of pills of this, that, and the other type that we have a chance to take, or hopefully don't have to take all of them. And a lot of them, you don't notice any difference. And it feels like, I'm spending money. Did it make any difference? And when you can find something you can actually feel a difference, that's
Mhm.
special. That's quite unique. So I am I'm sorry that you dealt with that challenge. And I'm grateful that you were able to get on top of it and to become yourself again. And it feels like and even new and improved. Like this, we have Zoe 2.0 now. So thank you for what you have become.
Yeah, thanks. I think something that actually I've never really thought of it this way, that you triggered something, but in business, and if you do any kind of mindset training or studying, the smallest little thing can change the way you think about something. The smallest little thing can help you create better habits. Good habits learn in or lean into, if you lean into good habits and you create them, great things can come from that. Not always feel it at first. Trust me, it's not always this quick magic trick. But when you said just that little thing, that little 0.001 difference, but think about it for a second from just a nugget maybe that people can walk away with. In business, sometimes if you change something just slightly, it can change the whole course of the company, the impact, potentially the way that something was being invented. Aha, if you connect these two things instead of this one and that one, smallest, simplest little thing, but all of a sudden electrical current flows. So it's just things like that. And I guess I never thought of it that way. So that's kind of cool that you helped me figure that out. But again, small, little, simple changes, getting up earlier, going to bed earlier, They seem like hard, maybe, but they are little things. Sometimes getting to the simple little change feels like you're running into a brick wall and just bouncing off and not getting to it. So sometimes just know this from a mindset perspective that you might have to hit the wall more than you would like to in order to figure out whether it's someone that helps you discover it, whether it's a light bulb moment, whether it's a breakdown that you had where you just got to your max capacity and said, something's got to give. And like I said, I had some of the victim mentality, but I never let it, I never, it might have affected me that day and disabled me that day to where I was woe is me. But I promised myself that I would never let it disable me, like me as a person. The human body, it is an exceptional thing, and it is our temple, and we are obligated to take care of it.
So this has been delightful. So thank you. Would you like to just share again the website or how people can get a hold of you before we close?
Sure. Thank you. It's Zeta Body, Zeta Body, Body.com. You'll see all of the supplementation lists. Like I said, we're updating and going through a really awesome, like influencer based feedback to make the website even better, but it's very simple to order. Z83 is the flagship product that we talked about. That's the brain nootropic. Three simple products. Remember, it's focus, it's that mental acuity that you get plus energy. So there's a small amount of caffeine in it, probably way less than most people drink every day anyway. But that synergistic effect of combining those three products really helps to make you feel more energized without amping you up and giving you so much caffeine. Again, creatine will be launching very soon. So we've worked with an exceptional raw material manufacturer. It's incredibly pure, fine, micronized creatine. I learned a lot about where creatine comes from. Basically comes from rocks. So anyway, that's a whole nother part. But so there's everything that you need there. You can keep it as simple or as complex as you like. Again, best way too is to watch at least my fun stories and what I do every day. And then the Instagram handles are Zoe Karli, spelled as my name, Zoe Karli, Karli, and then my husband as well, which is David Karli too. So we try to be as active on social media as possible to share inspiration and to share the little nuggets and tips that we have to the masses. One thing is my husband's a doc. He can really only help one person at a time. So creating a supplement, and I know there's a sea of supplements out there, extended us the ability to touch more people's lives. And that was important to me. So
I thank you. That's excellent. I appreciate you very much. In closing, I'd like to share a quote by author Debbie Ford. She said, "When you are a warrior for your body, you search out every good thing there is to fill it with, every nutrient, every vitamin, every thought, every belief. You love your body, and you thank your body in the morning and bless it throughout the day." Today, I invite our listeners to love our bodies and become warriors for our bodies. See you next time on Linda's Corner. Thanks for tuning in to Linda's Corner podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends to help us inspire even more listeners. Be sure to visit hopeforhealingfoundation.org for free and affordable resources to help you overcome life's challenges. And explore healingbreathworkdetox.com, where you'll find transformative tools for deep inner healing and lasting change. Also, don't forget to check out my books, Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, and You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. Your journey to hope, healing, and happiness starts here.